As we await the arrival of Middle-earth Shadow of War on October 10th, we thought it was as good a time as any to actually sit down and play its predecessor, the highly acclaimed Shadow of Mordor. It's a Lord of the Rings game, and so there was always going to be a high degree of expectation from the loyal fans of Tolkien's lore. What was delivered was, in my opinion, an excellent game. While some of the devoted Tolkienites out there may dislike how the game's story handled things like magic and shoehorned in popular characters from the books,
Master is good.
As a game, it delivered on so many levels. We find ourselves on the rocky plains of Mordor seeking revenge as the ranger Talion. Talion, aside from being a super skilled fighter, adept sleuth and all-around orc killing machine, also has the added bonus of not succumbing to death, which helps. Talion has been forbidden from death and is joined in this state of limbo by an unknown elf, who appears only to Talion as a wraith. Talion and the wraith work together in combat, and we can use the elf's skill with a bow to great effect. So yeah, you can pretty much add Master Bowman to Talion's skill set now. The two undying beings journey throughout Mordor seeking a way to break their curse, and along the way we learn many surprising things about our wraith counterpart, not least of which is the fact that he's actually Celebrimbor, the forger of the Three Rings of Power who was deceived by Sauron himself.
Celebrimbor, greatest smith of the Second Age.
The story, which is less interesting in its content than in its actual progression, is driven by a need to claim revenge upon the Dark Lord Sauron's key chiefs, which leads me nicely to the core mechanic of the game, and the single most praised aspect about it, the Nemesis system. Let's start by saying that the combat in this game is a treat. Sword fights are the game's bread and butter, and the combat mechanics work brilliantly. It's hard hitting and it's gruesome, with frankly stunning kill animations. If you prefer a stealthy approach, however, the game also uses many stealth mechanics, as it is often foolish to run around the orc-infested Mordor, being much safer to sneak around the orc encampments. It's a rewarding style of play too, with great stealth kills and fun and interesting methods of taking out orcs without resorting to cold steel, such as poisoning the orcs' beloved grog, or scaring them off. The combat is extremely rewarding, and clearly draws heavy inspiration from the Batman Arkham games. Sword fighting finds a nice balance between satisfying and difficult. But as fun as it is to kill horde after horde of the orc armies, to really progress through the game you have to play some power politics. Cut off the head of the snake and the body will die, as the old adage goes. In Shadow of Mordor your focus is on the orc captains and the even more elite war chiefs. The only way to weaken Sauron's army is to target the heavy hitters, and that's exactly what we do. But the clever Nemesis system ensures that we can't simply clear an area and leave a bunch of orc corpses to rot. Take out one orc captain and leave, and another ambitious orc will take his place. Power dynamics are forever changing, and you can influence the rise and fall of captains by taking part in power struggles, like interrupting a feast or ruining a recruitment drive. Using the power of the Wraith, we can gain intel on a captain's weaknesses and strengths to prepare for a fight. We can also see which captains act as bodyguards to the war chiefs, so we can take them out first and make our fight with the war chief a little easier. Knowing a captain's weakness can often be the difference between a long drawn out and difficult fight and the quick swipe of a dagger. All in all, Shadow of Mordor is a great game. Even without the iconic Nemesis system, it's extremely fun to wander around the hellish Mordor landscape. The game plays beautifully, and although the base story of revenge isn't much to write home about, discovering Celebrimbor's past made me personally much more interested in the game and the wider Tolkien lore. If Shadow of War does as we expect, and improves on the many successful elements of this game, and delivers an engaging story, I think we'll once again see a truly great Lord of the Rings game. As for Shadow of Mordor, Xite Gaming rates it a solid thumbs up out of 5.